Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Legacy. My name's Noah Mitchell and I'm the Senior Learning Experience Designer here at Legacy FM. So I want to ask you a question. How many of you have ever told yourselves something along the lines of, well, I'm just not that good at remembering names? Or maybe you're trying to remember a phone number and you tell yourself, well, I'm not good at remembering numbers either. Or perhaps you're trying to do some basic math or maybe even more slightly advanced math with your child for school and you tell yourself, well, I was just never really that good at math. Well, unfortunately, the reality is that intelligence is fixed at birth. So what we're born with is what we're stuck with for the rest of our lives, right? Maybe not. So what I just said is completely untrue. There are still several people out there that believe that whatever we're born with in terms of intelligence and therefore our learning and development capabilities through our lifetime, they believe that we're kind of stuck at that level and that no matter how hard we try to break out of that, it's simply not going to matter all that much. However, Carol Dweck coined a term called a growth mindset. And so the growth mindset stands in opposition to what I was just talking about with fixed intelligence, which is having a fixed mindset. And so don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of this and I'm still guilty of this now, even though I'm aware of the growth mindset. I will constantly throughout the day find opportunities to remind myself that I'm not good at this or I'm not good at that, or well, I've never really been good at this. When in reality, my saying that is what's hindering me, at least in part in that moment. And so I want to kind of get this out of the way first and foremost. I know that talent is a variable that plays a crucial role in certain things. I'm not going to discount that, and hard work is certainly another component of that, right? But I would argue that the hard work fits into the growth mindset that we're going to talk about. And so with this video, and it's going to be short, I promise, I really hope that any of you who might still be harboring or struggling with this idea of fixed intelligence and fixed mindset, that this video will help you continually each day to just climb out of that box and realize that you're so much more capable than you give yourself credit for. Okay? And so what the growth mindset is, as researchers have looked at this in various observational settings, they have seen that students who are taught and are aware of what the growth mindset is, which is the fact that you are in much more control of how you learn and your ability to grow and perhaps even increase your intelligence, whatever that means, right? And so what they found was that students that were aware of that tended to perform better on tests, tended to actually learn more over time. And so that's what I really want you to understand and remember in those moments when you're telling yourself that, well, I'm just not really good at math and I never have been. Okay, be honest with yourself. You weren't good with math maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but you can be pretty good at math now if you put in the work and you keep trying. You have to remember to remain positive and realistic, of course, but most importantly to remain positive and put in the hard work. And here's another facet of the growth mindset that's really important. So it's important for you to tell yourself first and foremost, but also to tell your kids or anybody else that you encounter. It's more important to tell them that the work and the effort that they put in holds more value than their actual intelligence or how smart they are. And so that's another thing that researchers saw whenever they observed the difference between fixed mindset learning and growth mindset learning in children in school, is that if the teacher was constantly telling the kids that, like, oh, you're super smart. Oh, wow, you're really smart. You're really good at this. What happened is those kids developed a complex about that. So because the kids were already sort of feeling like they were faking it until they were making it, when they were validated in that way by saying, oh, you're super smart, instead of helping them to do better, usually it made them feel more nervous and really generated a sort of imposter syndrome in them. So then they spent, the rest of the school year thinking, oh my gosh, everyone's going to know that I'm not really smart. I got lucky. I'm not who they say I am. And so with the growth mindset, we shift the focus away from telling ourselves and other people that like, oh man, you're super smart, or you're really, really intelligent, versus, wow, you worked really hard on this. Like, you put in an awesome effort and look what you accomplished. And I think, again, it's just important to remind ourselves daily to do that with ourselves, to extend ourselves a little grace and say, it's not necessarily how smart I am. It's how hard I'm willing to work, and understand that that's probably the most valuable part of learning, right? So that's really all I have for you today. I just wanted to really touch base on that because it's a huge issue in my life right now. Just continually reminding myself that I'm more capable than I want to think I am. And it sort of helps to dampen down the imposter syndrome, because when you remind yourself that it's not about being the smartest person in the room or being super intelligent, but it's just as much, if not more, about putting in the hard work and simply knowing that I can make myself better and I can make decisions and figure out ways to increase my knowledge over time, and therefore increase my intelligence over time, right? And again, I'm using intelligence maybe in a very broad way. So of course there are other very specific terms for it. But I'm using it in more the way that we would use it in everyday life anyway, right? So anyway, again, that's all I have for you today. Hope you all have an amazing day. And remember, check out the growth mindset. This mindset's going to help you, I promise. Have a good one. Bye.